Hello, this is a short video that has been designed as a starting point for educators to build student-centered, measurable and aligned course learning outcomes. We will share what course learning outcomes are, why course learning outcomes are valuable, and how to write effective and student-centered course learning outcomes. Course learning outcomes are a set of statements that describe the fundamental knowledge, skills, abilities, and attitudes students will develop as a result of completing the course. They differ from a course outline in that they are focused on the learning of students rather than listing course topics. Course learning outcomes are the foundation of an effective course and the initial step of designing a course. Learning outcomes answer the questions: what will students know and be able to do, and what will they value when they complete my course? Course learning outcomes are valuable for several reasons. Notably, they make course goals explicit for both student and instructors and create an environment that is more conducive to that of learning. An important part of identifying learning outcomes is reflecting on several situational factors that will impact your course learning outcomes, as well as your overall course design. These factors include the context of the course, institutional considerations, classroom environment considerations, who your students are, and who you are as an instructor. Example questions to consider when regarding these situational factors include: where does your course fall in the curriculum? How well prepared are your students for the course? Are there accreditation standards that are specific to your discipline that you need to consider? And are there any other considerations unique to your teaching context? Now that we have a sense of what comprises course learning outcomes, we can begin to write them. These course outcomes should be student-centered, measurable, and using action verbs that explicitly state what you expect from your students. Course learning outcomes should be aligned with the learning outcomes of a program, but will be more specific than that at the programmatic level, as they describe the unique knowledge, skills that students will gain from that particular course. In order to write effective and student-centered outcomes, we can use Bloom's revised taxonomy. This is a useful model that classifies thinking into 6 levels of cognitive complexity. Identifying which level is appropriate for each expected learning outcome in your course is a useful first step. Here are a couple of examples of learning outcomes at different levels on Bloom's taxonomy. Students will be able to identify the main thesis of each reading in the course and pieces that support that thesis. Students will be able to evaluate current news stories and political issues related to Earth and climate science. There is a common tendency when writing learning outcomes to use the words like know and understand. As instructors, we may have a clear understanding of what knowing or understanding looks like in terms of student performance. However, there may be a disconnect between what we think demonstrates understanding versus what our student thinks demonstrates the same understanding. To add clarity, we should ask ourselves, what would students be able to do if they did actually understand? Let's revise an existing course learning outcome. Students will be able to understand how the hydrologic cycle contributes to the production of lake effect snow and the potential impact on weather. In this example, identifying how you plan to assess whether or not students understand will help you clarify your learning outcomes. Do you want students to explain how the hydrologic cycle contributes to the production of lake effect snow and the potential impact on weather? Or do you have an expectation of higher order thinking, such as being able to analyze weather-related data to actually make a prediction about the potential for lake effect snow? Here are 2 revisions for this course learning outcome. Explain how the processes of the hydrologic cycle contributes to the production of lake effect snow and the potential impact on weather. Predict a lake effect snow event based on an analysis of weather conditions. Clarifying learning outcomes not only makes our expectations clear to students, it also helps us design appropriate assessments, target our instruction, and helps us develop assignments that support students in being able to successfully achieve those outcomes. Once you have drafted your course learning outcomes, the Engaged Teaching Hub and the Teaching and Learning Commons can support you through reviewing and revising your course learning outcomes. We also offer a course design series as part of our regular programming. To get in touch, please contact us at the email below. Thank you very much for your time. We hope that this video is a starting point for you to write student-centered, measurable, and aligned course learning outcomes.